Good morning, folks. Glad to be back on YouTube again, getting these videos cranked out or what have you here. Again, I haven't, strayed away too far from my main videos as far as my Bible study topics. I'm still working on some right now, so just be patient. They're actually still in the process of being made, and they will be actually posted very soon. But again, to get to the heart of the matter of the video that I'm actually wanting to do today, I wanted to actually go back and take a look at a video that I did, or maybe do a follow-up to a video that I did maybe years ago, where I was doing a pretty much a compare and a contrast from, men, our men, black men from earlier areas, as opposed to the men that we actually see today, the young black men. And, I didn't really have a need to actually do this video until, recent issues, and things that I've actually seen, and pretty much been, a witness to, as far as a lot of things and behaviors and such that our black men actually do engage in. And for the most part, it kind of got me to thinking that, what, maybe it's time for me to go and do another video again, just to try to maybe reiterate some things and maybe even brush up on some new things, that we may not have even maybe thought about talking about. I wanted to do this video just so we can get a basic understanding for the most part of pretty much the challenges and the issues that our young black men are facing. Again, some of them are pretty much well known, and some of them, it may just be, where we just have to go back and just really think things through, to try to see what went wrong, that sort of thing. Again, all of my videos that I do, I try to actually make it where, it's not where I'm attacking someone, but it's just to get you to think about things. But, again, just taking a brief look at the situation here, our young black men are actually, again, faced with a lot of things these days, And the issue is that, they are having to make different decisions about things, how to, maintain their identities, how to not fall victim to the traps and everything that is actually already set for them, how to, just to be able to just maintain and actually, again, keep the reputation of being a normal black man. And like I say, in these days and times, I can just look at, just the lifespan and just look at the lives, and the histories and everything that these young black men are facing these days and see that, in a sense, it is a struggle. I mean, it's no doubt it is a struggle, to be taken seriously. Just being black in and of itself is a struggle these days because, again, no one wants to really take you seriously. And, again, a lot of that, again, has to do with our own doing. I'm not going to sit there and say that it doesn't, because it does, because we do engage in things that makes us look like fools. It makes us look like we just don't have any home training, But, again, just generally speaking, we can see that, again, that our young black men are really facing a whole lot, and they really have a lot on their shoulders, and the thing about it is a lot of it is actually, again, if you think about it, they're occurring at a much younger age as opposed to the traditional times when, young black men, would face things like, let's say, in their late 20s, early 30s, where you would think that they will be a little bit more mature and actually able to handle whatever it is that comes their way. But these days here, when I was just, sitting, just looking and just kind of just observing, it's not really that way at all. And the thing about it, again, is that we just have to look up at the psychology or the psychological makeup of our young black men to determine what's going on now and what really can happen in the future. I mean, this can be a really deep video if you really want to take it there. But, just generally looking on the surface, today's young black men really, I would say, they really don't have an idea or really don't have a clue about really the environment, what's going on in the world, what is important, how it's going to affect them. Because the main reason why I say that is because a lot of times the only thing that they're actually interested in, of course, is the physical, the social aspect of living. Being able to hang out with friends, what are we doing this weekend? Are we going to go into the club? Are we going to, do this? Are we going to go, and try to, are we going to go macking? I mean, and the thing about it, again, is that for the most part, when you think about it and really break things down to its simpler forms, today's black man, number one, is oversexed, hyper-masculinized, and really think that they have to prove something to other people. Back in general, on the earlier eras, black men really did not really want to go for all of that. They really did not even see a need to really have to prove anything to anybody because of the number one thing that I see that is missing in a lot of our young black men, and that word is confidence. Confidence is something that is actually, when you have it, you really don't have to prove that you have it. Folks just see it and they know it and they actually respect it. A lot of the young men these days that you see that are walking around with you, who you see on the block and everything, and maybe even some who you may even see in your workplace, they are constantly trying to prove something. whether they're cool, how they look, can I get the ladies? And in some cases, can I get the men? Hey, it is what it is these days. You have to be cool with it. You have to be honest. But the issue is that in this day and time, you don't really see a lot of genuine young black men where they're actually out there to try to prove, well, not that you're trying to prove, but you're actually trying to show the world that, hey, I may be young and black, but the issue is, you know what, you're going to take me seriously because I'm not going to put something out there that is going to degrade me as a person or my race. Like I said, all you see these days are folks, young folks, and the only thing that they're actually interested in, again, is showing off their bodies, and showing off, pretty much, everything but the right thing, which is intelligence. And the thing about it, again, is that to me is the most disheartening part of being a man, is that the fact about it is that other folks actually make you look bad. And it's sad that I actually have to say it like that, but you have to come to terms and be real about the situation. Sometimes, you run into places, you run into people, that really make you ashamed of really who you are because of their actions, because of their behaviors, because of the fact that they feel that, you know what, I would much rather clown around and act like a buffoon rather than actually buckle down and really, do the right thing and be the man that God called me to be. Again, it's really a simple case, but the issue is that you see a lot of times black young men are having a struggle having to really adapt that way of thinking. They don't even really know because, number one, they're not trying to be wise. And the thing about it is that when I do videos, I cannot leave out the Bible because, again, the Bible is a part of me. So I cannot sit there and actually suppress something when I know that it's there that needs to come out. One of the main things that our young black men are missing these days, again, and I think that, and it's true for a majority of them, is wisdom. Yes, it's time to listen. It's time to hear. It's time to get serious. And the issue is that wisdom will keep you if you want to be kept, meaning, with a clear, intact mind, with a clear thinking mind, not trying to fall into temptations, and I understand that, our young black men these days are faced with a lot of temptations, it's like they're being pulled in many different directions with different choices that they have to make, and the thing about it, again, is that it's like, if I make the wrong choice, this is what's going to happen, and this, that, and the other. And I mean, to the average person, it can really cause them to really go crazy. But what we have to understand is that wisdom, when it's actually applied, can actually help you in really battling a lot of the issues that we face in life. The thing about it, again, is that our young black men, and I'm not talking about women or whatever because I'm not even focused on them. They're not a part of this conversation. But the issue is that with our young black men, we are the leaders. We are expected to actually be able to lead. We are expected to be able to maintain. And the issue is that you can't do that when you're actually trying to be common like the world. The Bible tells us, that you can be in the world but not of the world. And the issue is that a lot of our young men, they are not even trying to really do the right thing. There's a little cliche that goes around. And like I say, I don't call it a cliche. I call it a simple truth where it says that real men love God. And the thing about it, real men are not afraid to, to worship God. And I believe in that wholeheartedly because the thing about it, again, is that when you are actually in that stage or have reached that maturity level where you're saying, you know what, it doesn't matter what the world says about me. I'm going to continue to serve God or whatever. God is going to actually bring you out and make you look like the professional man that you're supposed to be if you actually, again, stay with him. But the issue is that our young men are so obsessed with the physical. They're so obsessed with, women. They're so obsessed with the material things of this world that really does not mean much to the fact that it's actually gotten to the point where that's where their treasure is. The Bible says where your heart is, that's where your treasure is. And a lot of the treasures that these young men have these days is not in the place where it's supposed to be. It's in the material things, the things that can decay and rot away and pass away, But the issue is, again, knowing all of this, again, our young black men, again, is in, I would say, a state of danger. I know a lot of people may say, oh, he's taking this way too far. It's not that big of a deal. I beg to differ. Yes, it is. It is a big deal. Because one thing about it is that when you have actually systems that are already in place that is set up to cause you to fail, you really have to sit down and really think about this thing. Because there's no joking about this. We have a lot of things that are actually in place, from what's on TV to what's going on in social media to what's going on in different areas of the world, that it's actually trying to transform the average black man. And the issue is that it's a shame that those things are actually working to really change the form of what young black men are supposed to be. I kid you not, you can't really go anywhere right now and really find really much of genuine black men that are really about something. The only type of black men that you are going to see that are common these days are those that are argumentative, that behave, just like, catty women. They want to have the last word on everything. They don't want to sit down and be instructed on anything because they feel that they already know this already, or whatever it is. They feel that, you know what, why are you talking to me? I already know this. But this still, if you visit them tomorrow, the very thing that you try to teach them to avoid, they fall right into it. Why? Because they feel that they don't need wisdom. And that's one of the main things, and one of the major errors in life is to go throughout life thinking that you know everything when you can't be taught something. That's the reason why we see a lot of destruction of our black men, both intellectually, psychology, and like I say, and sad part about it again is that when you get into the mind frame, when you can get into the mind and really corrupt the mind of anybody, to include the black man, you pretty much got them. You can manipulate them. You can do whatever you want. You can cause them to go. It's like they're putty. And the sad part about it is that our young black men, you can't rely on them these days to be men. And it's sad to say that, but it's the truth. Because again, I'm not speaking from something that I just pulled out of the air. I'm speaking from things that I know for a fact and that I have observed and that I am continuing to observe. Trust me. I don't do videos just to sit up there and have something to say. Anytime I do a video, you best believe that I've studied something and actually thought about it, planned it, and pretty much wanted to deliver it to someone who actually would choose to listen. But again, I don't want to get too far off topic. But one of the main things also that I see that, again, that black folks or black men are interested in, of course, is the social aspect, of living, which is not a problem because, again, we are social human beings. We like to talk. We want people to listen to what we have to say. We want to feel like we're a part of something. But one of the main things, again, that I've seen that black men lack these days is proper communication. It's funny that, we can dress the part. We can be GQ'd up. We can, be able to, to put to shame, a lot of people as far as our appearance, and because appearance is important. But when it comes to communication, we just do not get it. We speak in ebonics. We speak in broken sentences. We speak, in ways, and the thing about it is that, again, we have people that are actually able to turn it off and turn it on. And when I say that, I mean like, they can be both professional, and when they get around their homeboys or their family members, they can really talk in, the way that they normally talk on the street or whatever. That, that sounds a lot like me. Like I say, so I'm not condemning, but the issue is that when it comes to the point when you're trying to handle business, when you're trying to be taken seriously, when you're in an interview, when you're actually trying to go for an important job or whatever, you have a lot of them, they don't even know how to express themselves. I actually had the opportunity one time to sit down with a young fella and talk to him, just to kind of get a feel about what he's about, what's important to him, and just for the most part, just try to engage to see, pretty much what he's working with intellectually. Like I say, I'm not trying to sit up there and pass judgment on anybody because I don't have that right. So for anybody that's thinking that, okay, I'm telling you right now, you're wrong. Okay, get over it. Let's move on. But the issue is that when I began to talk to him and then I allow him, to respond back to me, he really did not know how to respond. Number one, because no one ever have came to him in a mature manner and talked to him and really be concerned about his well-being. And see, one thing about it is that when you're not used to something, you don't know how to respond. And the thing about it again is that I think that is very important because a lot of our young men really don't know how to respond to things because, again, important things, because number one, they're not being placed in situations and opportunities like that could afford them the chance to mature where they can become better people, better orators, better, at public speaking and stuff like that. The only thing they're interested in as far as talking is on the block with their homeboys when they're playing basketball or through Facebook or whatever type of issue. But when it actually comes down to handling business, they don't know how to do that because, again, they don't get that many opportunities to engage or actually be a part of something like that. And like I say, it could be a lot of reasons for that. Like I say, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not casting judgments or anything. It's just a mere observation. And the thing about it again is that, when I actually begin to talk and begin to engage in dialogue with the fellow, he just was really, you could tell, just grabbing for words, trying to sound, like he knows what he's talking about. And like I say, I give him the benefit of the doubt, like I say, because I don't want anybody to feel like I am better than them, like I'm trying to put someone down, because again, I know how that feels, and that is not a very comfortable feeling. So I would not want to put that on anybody as well. So like I say, it is what it is. So I can pretty much, can understand both sides of the fence. But it's just the fact about it is that our young black men have to be better. They just have to be better. You have to get better by whatever means possible. Of course, don't do anything stupid or illegal, but we just have to step it up. But one of the main aspects, I guess I would say, and I know this is a bit taboo because a lot of folks don't like to talk about it, but again, to know me, you pretty much know my style, or you think you do, but a lot of people still don't know because I still have a way of kind of, surprising folks, which is good, I guess. But anyway, we see a big rise now in, issues regarding black male youth sexuality. And the sad part about it, again, is that there's a trend that's going on here. And like I say, a lot of people may say they disagree or whatever the case may be, but there's a trend now. It's not only necessarily, we see a trend of young black men being blown out gay, no pun intended, but we're starting to see a real rise in the number of what they would call bisexual men. And anybody that pretty much knows, or, what bisexual means, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what that means, where you have one person that have a strong sexual interest in both male and female. And a lot of our young black men, the ones who you would never think that would go that way, who doesn't even have the look, if there is a look, don't have the mannerism or gestures of a, gay man or whatever, they're starting to really turn around and explore interests elsewhere, if you know what I mean. And the thing about it, again, is that, social media is popularizing it. Mainstream TV is popularizing it. And the issue is that, you have people that are encouraging and saying that it's okay to experiment. And the issue is that, I am all, experimenting is not a bad thing depending upon the context where you're coming from. Because, again, there's just some things that we're not supposed to be involved in, point blank, period, according to the Bible. Like I say, I understand, we're living in a life full of temptations. You have a lot of strong things that are going out there that are sending out signals. And one of those signals is very strong. And it's one of those, what I would call sexual signals. And the thing about it, again, is that it makes it seem as if you're not a man or not a woman or whatever if you haven't had a taste of sex or something like that. And the thing about it, again, is that folks are actually having sex at a lot younger age as opposed to when I was coming up. Like I said in previous videos, I didn't start actually considering sex, if you will, until I was maybe in my late teens, maybe, something like that. But the issue is that I was long gone out of the house and actually, quote unquote, on my own in the military when I actually had to start thinking about sex in a serious manner. Do I want to have it? If so, who do I want to have it with? Those sort of things, those type of things. Because, again, you can't avoid sex. Let's just get that true. Let's just get that out the way. Because sex is one of our basic emotional needs. It's how we actually procreate. That's how we actually, that's just one of those things that's a part of our existence. You have to have sex, for survival. Okay, point blank, period. But the issue is that, when temptation comes around and, and the thing about it, again, with suggestions coming out there being strong, and you already have black men that are already weak in the mind because they're not around those who are actually positive and strong that are constantly reinforcing them to do the right thing, they're going to eventually fall victim to whatever it is that's out there that is presenting itself to them. And the sad thing to say is that we have a lot of people who are desperate. And the issue is that they may have had a taste of sex, but now they don't even know how to, maintain and make sure that, hey, you know what? Okay, I've had my taste of sex. So now, it's gotten to the point now it felt so good. Now I just want to go and have it with anybody and everybody who's willing. And the sad part about it, I know where I live at here, that we have a lot of that going on. And the thing about it, I see a lot of that in our young black men. I'm not kidding you. And the sad part about it again is that it's like there is no control there. In the book, I think it's somewhere in the New Testament, they spoke of the end times where they were talking about, where one of the main things as far as the end times, as far as how the people behave, is that they won't have any self-control. And the issue is we see a lot of that. I mean, and the thing about it is that they don't have no shame. And again, they will actually, they will actually dive into, if you will, anything that's available. And the sad part about it again is that once they get the feeling of it and they feel it, then next thing you know, here comes the suggestion is, okay, maybe you need to consider coming over to the other side, so to speak. And you have a lot of them that do that. And the thing about it again is that it becomes a part of them. And the sad part about it is that it's a shame that our young black men are actually is starting to turn to that lifestyle, because now you have a lot of them that really, I mean, they won't actually come out and say that they're bi, but the issue is that they're okay with other folks knowing it, if you will. It's almost like a badge of honor, if you will, if you know what I'm saying, where they feel that, okay, you know what, I don't have anything to be ashamed of. I have enough love for both people. And see, the issue is that is not what that is designed to mean. You can actually love, as far as a godly love, we have to love everybody. But sexually, your body was created for one thing, and that's sex, but it's supposed to be sex with certain people, not someone of the same sex, was what I'm saying. But we're having a lot of our young men that are actually, again, okay with that. And not only are they okay with that, they're actually still going back and having children. This is the part that gets to me. And like I say, I might upset a lot of people because I'm talking about it, but you have to come clean. Because again, a lot of things are actually going on in the black community because folks are afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to attack the issue. And again, I'm not afraid to be called names because of it, because that lets me know that I'm affecting somebody somewhere. That means that my goal of actually affecting someone for the better, possibly, is working. But the issue is that young folks, I mean young, like in their early 20s or whatever, early to mid 20s, are going out there having sex, having children, but yet still they have affections for other men. And in some cases, they may even try to even slip one in, if you will, if the other man allows it. And the sad part about it, again, is that you cannot sit there and the thing, oh my goodness, you can't really hide those type of things. I don't care how you try to hide it. You can't hide it, because the thing about it is that stench, it seems like it stays on you, and it's not a good look. Not for our black men. And the thing about it, the sad part about it is that these days, bisexuality is transforming themselves into really, something that is really attractive. And the sad part about it is that the people that you actually see that who are bisexual, you would never know, because they look like regular, attractive, good-looking men who can go out there and get, and pull a lady in just a minute. Not that I'm saying that there's anything wrong with it, but there's nothing wrong if you look good, okay? If you got it going on, you look good, you just look good. Just make sure that you keep it in a healthy level. That's all I'm saying. But the issue is that I'm finding these days that you have a lot of young men, who spend copious times in the gym, who spends a lots of time posting selfies and everything like that, would not have a clue. And those are pretty much, in my sense, things that I would consider a bit questionable. There's nothing wrong with going to the gym and wanting to keep yourself in shape. But all of these excess pictures of yourself and everything, to me, that's kind of suspect. But like I say, that's a subject for another video. But you have, men that are really taking great care of themselves, which is good. You always want to take care of yourself. But the issue is you will never have a clue that they're bisexual. Like I say, so, I'm not, again, here to pass judgment on anybody. I'm just actually telling you the trends that's going on with our young black men. And the thing about it, again, is that it's catching on like a wildfire. And the sad part about it is that the young black men does not see any issues with it. And it's like it's a plot, and I hate to say it sound like some crazy person, but it's like it's a plot to stop the black man from thriving. And the issue is that it seems like it's working. And the thing about it, to caveat that, not only are more young black men are becoming bisexual, we're starting to be the face of HIV. And that's something that really, 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 really caught my eye. It kind of jolts you. Kind of makes you want to think a little bit, kind of makes you want to rethink some things, put some things in perspective. One of the main things, again, that I would have to say about the black community is that we like to hide truths just because we want to actually keep a smile on folks' face. We don't want to cause disruptions. We don't want to cause people to, to have to think. And the issue is that things happen sometimes because of the fact that we keep our mouths closed. I'm not saying that by opening your mouth that you're going to be able to solve every problem or every issue in the black community, but there are some things that can, happen as a result of you talking, and meaning that things can be actually at a lessened state. And I believe, again, is that we were actually open and honest and really about what's going on in our black community, our black churches and everything else. I believe that it will actually cause us to really take a different look at our behaviors as far as what's going on and what's being taught in the home, what's being taught as far as what's of value to our young black men. But, it's a sad thing to say, and statistics and research really backs me up. I mean, you have HIV that is really spreading like wildfire in the black community, in the young black community. The young black male. Women, again, account for a high rise as well. But the issue is, and a lot of them, say, okay, well, I got it. But the issue is I was only messing with one person, and the next thing you know, it was the guy who actually had another guy on the side who nobody knew about. And he wanted to keep on a hush-hush while he still wanted to be openly seen with his girl. We see it play out all the time here, and the thing about it is that we have billboards here, in the South here on almost every major highway, where a young black person is actually the spokesperson saying that you need to get tested for HIV, and all of this other type of stuff. And to me, it's embarrassing, because why is it that we have to be the face of a virus? I mean, again, after all the things that we have to go through, to be, and the trials and tribulations that we have to endure to survive and to make a living, this here is nothing more than an added pressure. So now that is the new face of HIV. If you look and actually Google and do those type of things, and you look up, the faces of HIV or whatever the case may be, the majority of them are black folks. Why? Because, again, we have lost control of our bodies, morally and physically. Again, we figure that everything is a party, and the only objective in life is to get somebody in the bedroom. And that is so far from what we're supposed to be, till it's just crazy. It really is. It's really crazy. And the sad part about it, again, is that when you talk to a young black person about this, they don't even see that there's anything wrong with it. Or they're just expressing themselves. Oh, it's just a phase, And the thing about it, again, is that when you actually talk to someone about it, and when I talked to, this young fella about, and we talked about a lot of things, and I have conversations with different people, but, I was talking to someone who is actually bi, even though they never physically came out and stated. But again, trust me, it's with good reason. I got it from a good, credible source, that this person is bi. But the issue is that now that he knows that I know, even though he never told me, it's like he's ashamed. Every day I see him, he actually is walking with a hoodie on, bent over, really trying to, it's like he's trying to dismiss his presence, or trying to actually hide his shame, if you will, trying to, make it where he doesn't have to look at me, when he passes by and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to judge you. The issue is that I'm just trying to get you to understand a couple of things. That's all. Like I said, it's not my job to judge. The Bible does that, and it does a very good job. It doesn't need any help from me. But the issue is that a lot of our young folks, a lot of our young black men are indeed in danger. And the issue is that, it's a shame that they don't even see it. And sometimes you got these people here that will willingly walk into danger because really they just don't care anymore. And to me, that is the most heartbreaking part of this whole thing. You got some young folks, young age, got a whole life ahead of them. They figure that, what, I've tried, and the issue is that I'm looking for acceptance. And the issue is, next thing you know, somebody comes along who doesn't mean them any good, shows them a little affection, and next thing you know, it's taken to the wrong level, and they get themselves into something. Now, they're hooked. And they may want to even try to get out, but they don't know how to. They don't even know how to ask for help. And I believe that's the case with that young fella. He wants to ask, but he just doesn't know how, because I guess he feels that I will judge him if he was to come out and just come clean. And, but like I say, all I can say is I'm an open book, and I can't make anybody talk to me. But again, that's his choice. But the issue is, getting back on track, there's again a lot of pressures and a lot of burdens on our young folks. And the thing about it again is that in sexuality again is a big factor in all of those burdens and pressures again because of as I stated before, social media and what's going on out there as far as what's popular, what's in right now. And the issue is that again you have a lot of folks who actually should know better, but they're actually promoting that, you know, the bisexual type of thing, letting folks know that it's a time, you know, that people actually, you know, get up and be recognized and really take no shame in what they're doing. And the thing about it again is that with sin will cause you to hold your head down in shame. Because number one, you know that you were raised better than that. And the thing about it again is that the Bible says your sin will find you out. Okay, so I can't sit up there and say anything as far as me judging somebody. Like I say, the Bible does that, and like I said, it does a great job. But the issue is, we all have issues that we face. We all have sins that we may not want other folks to know about. And the issue is, you know, I'm thanking God that, you know, that He keeps those things secret and works with you on a secret level where nobody has to know about it. Like I say, that can go from anything in life, you know, things that you may have been struggling with. Because I can tell you right now, there's not a perfect person that I've seen that has graced the face of this earth. If you're perfect, tell me how you did it. I want to be like you, you know. But a lot of temptations are out there for our young black men, you know. And the issue is that we have a lot of those who have actually been, quote unquote, in that business or in that lifestyle for quite some time, promoting and saying that there's nothing wrong with it. And for someone who is actually weak and they're looking for attention, guidance, they're going to eat it up, just like, you know, eat it up by the mouthful. And that's pretty much what we're dealing with when we're talking about our young black men of today. We really have to pray for them. We all need prayer, but we really have to pray for the survival of our young black men, because there are a lot of things that are in place to transform them from the mind, starting with the mind, all the way to the physical appearance. Like I say, you know, you can sit up there and you will have to ask, okay, where are the real young black men that are being groomed, that are going to be grooming the next generation? And the issue is that you really can't hardly find any, because now they're transforming. And the issue is that once you transform, you know, it's kind of hard to come back to what's normal. The Bible says the ways of a transgressor is hard. So that means that for the most part, when you find yourself out there and you realize that, hey, I need to come back, you best believe there's going to be a lot of forces that's going to be tugging at you to try to keep you out there in the world when you're trying to make your way back to what's true and right. But anyway, I don't want to go on and on, but I hope that someone got something out of this. And like I say, more videos coming soon. You all be blessed.